The development of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, known as the Super Famicom in Japan, began in the mid-1980s and progressed throughout the late 1980s before its launch in the early 1990s. Here's a breakdown of the SNES development timeline. 1. Mid-1980s, planning and concept phase. After the success of the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, Nintendo began planning a successor. The NES had revitalized the gaming industry, but new systems, particularly from Sega, were entering the market. Nintendo's lead designer, Masayuki Umura, and other engineers began conceptualizing a new system that would feature more advanced graphics, sound, and controller design. 2. 1987 to 1988, research and development. Nintendo's team focused on developing a 16-bit console to compete with the Sega Genesis, Mega Drive in some regions, which was already in development. The design was refined to include more advanced graphics, including Mode 7 for scaling and rotating backgrounds, and stereo sound capabilities. A key goal was to improve graphics and processing power while maintaining affordability and compatibility with future game designs. 3. 1989, early prototypes and finalization of specs. Nintendo developed initial prototypes of the console, testing both the hardware and its controllers. The final design included the now iconic controller with additional buttons, the L and R shoulder buttons, for more gameplay options. Mode 7 graphics and an audio chip designed by Sony, SPC 700, were finalized, offering a significant leap in visual and sound quality compared to the NES. 4. 1989 to 1990, software and game development. Nintendo began partnering with developers, both internal and external, to create a strong lineup of games for the console's launch. Popular franchises like Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda were prioritized for early releases on the system. 5. November 21, 1990, Japanese launch, Super Famicom. The Super Famicom was launched in Japan to huge anticipation and immediately sold out of its initial stock of 300,000 units. The system launched with two major titles, Super Mario World and F-Zero, both of which showcased the SNES's advanced graphics and sound capabilities. 6. 1991, North American preparations and marketing. Nintendo began marketing the console to the North American market, where it would be branded as the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES. The SNES's American design differed slightly from the Japanese Super Famicom in terms of color scheme and physical build. 7. August 23, 1991, North American launch. The SNES launched in North America with Super Mario World, Pilot Wings, and SimCity, among other titles. The system was a commercial success and continued to face off with Sega Genesis in the console wars of the early 1990s. 8. 1992 to 1996, global release and expansion. The SNES was launched in Europe, Australia, and other regions from 1992 to 1993, with slight variations in design and game lineup. Over these years, the SNES library grew rapidly, including iconic titles like The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, and Final Fantasy V. Nintendo continued to innovate with add-ons like the Super FX chip, enabling 3D graphics for games like Star Fox, and peripherals like the Super Game Boy. 9. 1996, transition to the Nintendo 64 as 3D gaming gained traction. The Nintendo 64 was launched, and the SNES began to phase out, though it maintained a loyal fanbase and continued to be produced in some regions until 1999. The SNES remains a beloved console, often praised for its groundbreaking graphics and audio capabilities, its extensive library of classic games, and its impact on the gaming industry. 4.